CONvergence leveled up to YouTube. Or maybe YouTube leveled up to CONvergence.
Oh yeah, Leela's awesome.
I thought she was, but I know that there's some people like, she was very appeased.
Well,
Yeah,
here's
so?
the thing. There are a lot of people who thought Leela was in the series to give the dads some eye candy so that they would watch the program with their kids. And I can see how a lot of people get very upset with the male gaze, yada yada. I'm sorry, any woman with a knife and a brain who can run with the doctor and save his butt over and over again and also change eye collars whenever she wants to is pretty darn awesome in my book.
Do what the doctor says or I will cut you. I think that's pretty feminist.
Leela is hardcore. So while her attire may not have made everyone happy, the existence of Leela makes me happy personally.
One of the points that I didn't touch on Leela specifically, but one of the points in my essay I tried to cover is there are some people who feel that any inclusion of any kind of overt sexuality in a fandom somehow makes it dirty or cheap or wrong. And I would respectfully say that's completely wrong. That just because if the purpose of her wearing a leather bikini is solely to titillate or to be objectified, then that's an issue. But there's nothing wrong with a woman wearing a leather bikini and kicking ass. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with characters being sexy, and as long as that's not their sole purpose in life. And so sexuality, I think, has a healthy and good place within fandom. And a lot of the knee-jerk reactions to that, I think, are fear-based, personally.
You know, it's kind of nice to see the contrast between instinct and the intellect, because you would have Leela at the end was teaching the Time Lords how to survive. And I just love that idea, that she knew a lot more than they did because they had been away from nature for so long.
Well, it's what you have basically. Her arc is really sort of Pygmalion as a tale that then gets sort of slightly inverted at the end where she has things to teach people as well. And of course, there is the issue that to a certain degree you're telling the quote-unquote noble savage tale. And that is certainly a valid reading of that character, but I think that when you have a series that has been around since 1963, it reflects the times in which it was made. There are going to be issues from time to time with racism, with sexism, with homophobia, with a lack of acknowledgement of sexuality. And, well, that's why we fill in the blanks with things like fan fiction. We can fix it to a certain degree. I don't think that it's possible to have a perfect TV show. There are things about the brand new series that occasionally make me grind my teeth too. But I think it's okay to acknowledge that this is something that is made by a massive committee of people who don't always agree on what to do, and that occasionally they're going to fail. And that's okay, because on the whole, as a collective group of stuff over 50 years, it still makes us pretty happy.
And I think the importance of the characters to us goes beyond what's simply in the text. Because you look at many of the iconic, really well-loved Doctor Who companions like Sarah Jane, like Rose, and they have fantastic beginnings. They have opinions, and then the Doctor clash, and they have really strong characters with really strong stories. And in a lot of cases, both in the 60s and 70s and the 2000s, the aughts, they turn into less, I don't want to say varied characters, but a lot of times we do see them, not the same depth of characterization. But it doesn't matter, because we still have Sarah Jane, and we still have Rose Tyler. And even if they're not perfect, it's better than nothing at all, a lot of times too. I mean, Martha Jones, who is many, many people's favorite character, and there's a lot of controversy, because the people who love her for what she is end up arguing a lot of times with the people who hate her for what she wasn't. But I would still choose to live in a world where Martha Jones was a companion, because there's an entire generation of Asian and Black girls in England who, for the first time, are watching Doctor Who and seeing themselves traveling with the companion and being smart and cool and saving the universe. So for me, yes, there are isms and yes, there's fail, but it's not all black and white and it's not all one and the other.
And I think the thing to remember is that Chicks, in particular, as a book and a product, is about celebrating the stuff that makes us happy. We're not glossing over the fact that there are problems on occasion, but the focus of the book is one of positivity, because in many ways it's very easy to get caught in sort of that echo chamber where we critique things to within an inch of their lives, and if someone from the outside wanders in on the tail end of that conversation, they're like, so do you like this show? So what we're trying to do here is to say, yes, we like this show, and here's why. Because sometimes it's actually more difficult to articulate what makes your heart skip a beat when the doctor grabs Rose's hand and says, run.